Bliss discovers that big is best in Goulburn.
It is glorious in here.
Let's go!
Tonight, mask rules tighten as the Delta COVID strain spreads, with fears a hospital maternity ward has now been exposed. An explosive aftermath to a drive-by shooting, the getaway car torched as a family escapes unharmed. Powering up the budget, $500 million to get electric cars on the road and free preschooling extended. House fire heartache an Auburn family home reduced to rubble. Back on the ball, one of the biggest radio events in the world makes a comeback in the state's northwest. And Tommy Turbo turns on the Jets, leading a mighty Manly fight back.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. The highly infectious Delta COVID strain is spreading further across Sydney tonight, triggering a tightening of mask rules. But there's another concerning new development. We can reveal an entire hospital maternity ward on the south coast may have been exposed. Let's go live to Chris Marr with the exclusive details. Chris, a specialist doctor had a close contact with a COVID case.
Mark, a gynaecologist has conducted a consultation with a patient in a clinic. Now, that patient has later tested positive to COVID. The specialist unknowingly then conducted rounds at the maternity unit at the Wollongong Private Hospital, where there is now testing underway. Today, a message went out from the clinic to other patients, alerting them to the circumstance and stating the rooms are being deep cleaned this weekend, overseen by New South Wales Health. We are also working closely with New South Wales Health to ensure that all patients and staff that were in the rooms on Friday are cared for. Now, a very nervous wait for patients there as new restrictions are announced today in response to more COVID cases emerging. From 4 this afternoon, it was masks on, mandatory in the inner west and 6 other Sydney council areas, indoor venues like retail.
It's a pretty tricky thing, but we have a ton of masks, so we can just stock up and then give them to the customers.
Hospitality, food outlets, not while you're eating or drinking, but staff need them.
Annoying again because they change the rules every second week or every third week, but obviously we have to follow the rules.
New restrictions announced by the Premier.
You have to balance up the risk with how heavy-handed you are with the public.
Masks compulsory in all indoor venues in Sydney City, Waverley, Randwick, Canada Bay, Inner West, Bayside and Wallara council areas until midnight Wednesday. Just those areas for now.
So we did toss up going the whole hog of Sydney, and we might need to.
Masks also mandatory on public transport across Greater Sydney, the Blue Mountains, Wollongong and Shell Harbour, with the eastern suburbs COVID cluster now reaching 9 positive cases, with links to the Bondi Junction Westfield.
We're also wanting to redouble our efforts to get testing of anyone who was in Westfield's Bondi Junction, including the car park, on June 12th and June 13th.
A woman in her 30s. She travelled with her partner to the Illawarra area visiting a Fairy Meadow cafe. Also on alert in the region, a Shell Harbour baby store. 2 others in their 50s from the Sutherland Shire now infected, including a woman connected to a previous confirmed case and a man who works at a Tempe Salvation Army store. Alerts have been issued for a number of gyms in the CBD and more than a dozen venues in the popular Birkenhead shopping centre at Drummoyne, many closed to customers. A pop-up testing clinic there was quiet, and statewide, only 24,000 tests.
I'd really like to see those numbers today exceed 30 to 40,000 tests.
A string of venues on alert, new restrictions and COVID tracers scrambling to prevent an outbreak right when there's negative debate about the AstraZeneca vaccine. The Premier admitting today that's not helpful.
If you've had your first shot of AstraZeneca, please have your second shot of AstraZeneca.
In Queensland, a new community case, a flight attendant testing positive just hours after she left quarantine.
I don't want the community to be alarmed at this stage, because the woman was only out in the community for a short period of time.
Chris Marr, 7 News.
The vaccine rollout is facing yet another setback, with GPs concerned about a growing number of people cancelling their appointments. Doctors are now calling for more Pfizer doses, which will be the main topic of discussion at tomorrow's emergency National Cabinet meeting.
Dr. Frederick Leong from Auburn is noticing a trend.
A lot of people actually do not feel very confident on the vaccine.
And confidence took another shot on Thursday when the medical advice for AstraZeneca changed, recommending it only be used for people over 60.
Some people have put down their name for vaccine, but later on they have cancelled.
It's the same issue at GPs across the country.
Every time this happens, it sort of reflects into people's internal fears.
Now experts fear many Australians will be exposed to outbreaks this winter, with 3.8 million people, many under the age of 60, weighing up getting their second AstraZeneca jab.
Please don't hesitate to get your vaccine. It's really important that you do that.
If we don't get vaccinated, we're potentially walking into disaster.
Doctors now want more Pfizer doses, the capacity to store them, and want to look at ways to give Pfizer jabs to people that have already had AstraZeneca.
If there's a choice to let everybody have Pfizer, I believe that will be a great news for everyone.
Prime Minister Scott Morrison will chair an emergency National Cabinet meeting tomorrow with only one item on the agenda.
We'd like to see as much Pfizer rolled out as quickly as possible.
I always have been calling on getting extra vaccines.
The Commonwealth's vaccine rollout is an absolute shambles.
Jennifer Beshwati, 7 News.
A family of 4, including a 2-year-old boy, has escaped unharmed after their Western Sydney home was peppered with bullets in a drive-by shooting. Police say the attack was targeted, with a manhunt now on after the getaway vehicle was found on fire.
Get in the house! Get in the house!
A getaway car lights up a usually quiet Regents Park street.
Get in the house! Get in the house!
I'm like, oh man, the car's on fire.
Set alight on Smith Street after a drive-by shooting just over a kilometre away on Notting Hill Road.
It was really big and the sounds like it was bombs.
The car was dumped after this house was sprayed with bullets. Residents worried the fire would spread as it jumped from car to tree.
Everything cracking and fire everywhere.
When they started to cry and they started getting like, oh, Dad, come inside, I got really upset for them. Like, they're really scared.
It's the second drive-by shooting in Sydney in just 2 days.
Bang, 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 bang like this.
After notorious crime boss Bilal Hamzi was gunned down in the CBD. But at this stage, police don't believe this attack is gang-related.
Evidence is not linking those two at this stage. However, we are following those lines of inquiry.
A family of 4, including a 2-year-old boy, forced to hide in this home. Police say at this stage the motive is unclear. It was a targeted attack and the 4 people inside at the time are lucky they weren't seriously injured. Authorities insist the public is safe. Isabel Mullen, 7 News.
Savings for parents worth thousands of dollars have been unveiled ahead of Tuesday's state budget. Preschools will remain free, worth up to $4,000 a year, while there'll be a revolution on our roads, with the government revealing a $500 million plan for our driving future.
Giving a big plug to electric vehicles, the state government is pledging hundreds of millions of dollars to drive change.
It is pedal to the metal for electric vehicles in New South Wales.
Pushing for half of all the state's new cars to be electric by the end of the decade and losing their luxury image.
They've got to become everyday cars. They've got to be our family cars.
Tuesday's budget will scrap stamp duty for electric vehicles under $78,000, offer $3,000 rebates for the first 25,000 buyers, and they'll get the green light to use T2 and T3 lanes.
All vehicles around the world are moving to electric. Australia's challenge right now is to catch up.
But the NRMA says range anxiety is still a key worry for drivers. $130 million will be spent on installing enough charging stations to have one every 5 kilometres on Sydney's major roads, and on major highways around the state to have one at least every 100 kilometres.
Is about making it as easy to charge up your car as it is to fill up your car.
But another charge is coming. The state government confirming that from as early as 2027, owners of electric vehicles will have to pay 2.5 cents per kilometre to help make up for the loss of fuel excise, costing the average driver around $300 a year, delayed to not discourage buyers. The opposition says drivers need help now.
Will they be doing something significant to reduce the cost of tolls on families?
Extending COVID help preschool will be free school for another year at hundreds of community and mobile centres. 3 and 4-year-olds given 15 free hours, or about 3 days a week, 600 hours for the year.
This will save families up to $4,000 every year.
Completing the Sydney Modern Gallery, part of a $200 million spend on cultural institutions. And plans by Paul Keating and Lucy Turnbull to revamp historic Macquarie Street will get funding to start work on a new heritage square. Paul Kadak, 7 News.
Federal National MPs have played down speculation of a leadership spill tomorrow, saying regional Australians don't want them to focus on internal politics.
I absolutely back Michael McCormack and his leadership. I think he's doing a terrific job. The Nationals have a strong and united team.
Barnaby Joyce tried to unseat Michael McCormack early last year. Some within the party believe he now has the numbers to challenge again. A family home in Auburn has been reduced to rubble after a fire broke out in the early hours of the morning. The owners, who've lost everything, say they're just grateful no one was home at the time.
Up in flames. 2 decades worth of treasured memories. An Auburn family in disbelief returning this morning to a home which is little more than ash and debris.
It's completely gone.
Gone.
Have you got insurance?
I don't know. I will check with the bank. Unlikely.
Thankfully, nobody was inside when fire ripped through around 4:30 this morning. The family dog rescued and grateful. Neighbours banding together to try to save what little they could.
It just escalated so fast, very fast. Within half an hour, everyone was here. They were trying to put it out.
The fire then spread to 2 neighbouring homes. Everyone got out, including an elderly lady, shaken but okay.
It was a weatherboard house, so it was burning quite fiercely.
40 firefighters managing to eventually bring it under control.
Forensic crews and fire investigators are now sifting through the rubble, trying to determine the cause of the blaze. But at this stage, they don't believe it was deliberately lit.
I say, but could be because of electrical, I don't know.
The homeowner, known for his community work, now facing the prospect of starting from scratch.
I don't know, I'm lost for words. Shouldn't have happened to him, I guess. Happens.
I don't know. I can't think of it.
Serena Andaloro, 7 News.
The family of executed crime boss Bilal Hamzi is seeking to have court orders stopping them from meeting relaxed so they can grieve at his funeral. But it's a big concern for police, worried relatives could use the opportunity to plan a revenge attack.
22 members of the Hamzi and Alameddine crime families are subjected to a serious crime prevention order designed to severely restrict their freedoms because police say they can't stop trying to kill each other. Bilal Hamzi was the latest target, gunned down on Bridge Street Thursday night. Family will want to attend his funeral, but some cannot.
There are current orders from the Supreme Court which prohibit some of the Hamzi family members communicating with one another.
The Hamzi's lawyer, Ahmed Dib, is seeking to overturn it, only briefly, he says.
And this is when you need your family members around you so you can get through it.
Ibrahim Hamzi and Ghassan Amoun are the family members seeking compassion. The rival Alameddines are subjected to similar restrictions. In February, Rafat Alameddine was described as a sitting duck because the order restricts his ability so severely to move about. Masood Zakaria is subjected to the same order. He was once acquitted over supplying the gun used to murder police accountant Curtis Cheng. Talal Alameddine was not as fortunate, found guilty and sentenced to 14 years.
Senior police are not shy, suggesting a Hamzi family associate will be seeking retribution over what happened to Bilal on Thursday night. It's why they don't want some members associating with each other at all. But the Hamzi family's lawyer says police will not be opposing the application.
And they've indicated that they won't. They understand the current circumstances.
It will be heard in the Supreme Court this week ahead of Bilal Hamzi's funeral at Lakemba Mosque on Thursday. Robert Ovadia, 7 News.
A man described as a conservative hardliner is the new leader of Iran. Ebrahim Raisi won the election in a landslide, with many of his opponents barred from running. It's prompted renewed hope that Iran and the US will revive their scrapped nuclear deal.
In Tehran, celebrations for the election of a new president. I'm very happy, says a supporter. Hope has formed in my heart again. In fact, fewer than half the 60 million eligible Iranians turned out to vote, as the establishment blocked many moderates from running. Hardliner Ebrahim Raisi won more than 5 times the vote of his nearest rival, here in a joint appearance with the more moderate current president, Hassan Rouhani. We will definitely make use of the experience of the current administration, Raisi says. Human rights groups have long accused the 60-year-old of crimes against humanity for his part in the killing of political prisoners in the late 80s. This from American Iranians.
Raisi is a mass murderer. They're just trying to have this election show to fool the international community.
The change of power matters for US President Joe Biden, seen here at church in hometown Delaware today. Mr. Biden wants to revive the deal that limits Iran's nuclear program. The new president appears to want the deal as well, though some believe the 6 weeks before he formally takes Iran's highest civilian office is now the window in which the agreement needs to be clinched. Tim Lester, 7 News.
Sally Barry is here now with the weather. Sally, it was a very wet weekend. When will it clear?
Well, Mark, things should start to ease from here on in. We've got a few more showers forecast tonight, though. Today was well below average. Observatory Hill struggled to get past 15 degrees thanks to cooler southerly winds and cloud cover, with 6 millimetres of rain falling across the city. There were some heavier falls to the north of the city, coupled with hazardous surf along the coast. Southerly swell sat around the 3-metre mark on the northern beaches at Manly. Across New South Wales, we saw heavy rainfall at Wallace Lakes. That's near Foster, 127 millimetres over the past 24 hours. That was thanks to some storms, which we just saw around the mid-north coast overnight. But a Tasman low will sweep away from us over the next 12 hours or so, and that's really going to take the bulk of that weather with it. Right now in the city, it is 12 degrees, and we've got a few showers just skirting over Oatley, Bankstown and Penrith at the moment. The sunshine will return though, Mark. I'll tell you when with the 7-day forecast a little later.
Looking forward to it, Sal. Thank you. It's an Australian cold case that captivated many in the podcast The Lady Vanishes. What happened to Marion Barter? Coming up, why the mystery may soon be solved. Blind spot, a late change causes chaos. A tornado leaves a devastating impact, the incredible scenes. Later, staving off dementia, could what you eat help? And a fireworks factory explodes. Up next, the moment the stockpile erupts and the battle to control the blaze.
Oh, I love him to death.
He sung and danced his way into Australian hearts.
What's your name? Johnny Rothko. I'm a concreter.
Johnny just has all the swagger. But this Aussie larrikin is in the fight of his life.
Everything came crashing down. A tumour the size of my fist.
On the right side of his head.
I'm going to fight tooth and nail. Every second of every day is that extra bit more important.
Now you're there for his moment of hope.
This is it. Johnny finds out if his treatment is working.
So proud of him.
A special 7 News Spotlight tonight at 7 on 7.
Choosing a Macca's favourite. A delicious dilemma. You love the sauce, but cheese is calling. And the drizzle. Ah, quite the pickle. So the only question is, how will you decide? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It's the Michael Hill sale with up to 50% off selected items. So when you want to say congrats, happy anniversary, or I love you, do it with Sparkle. But hurry, they won't last long.
For tough pain relief, my go-to is Panadol Extra. Because if I don't, with my migraine headaches, I'm kind of useless in the kitchen. It's good to know you can still help out the people who need you. Together, let's rethink care.
At Coles, we're helping lower the cost of easy dinners with Coles beef and pork meatballs or Coles finest Italian sausages. Mix and save any two for $15. Look for this sticker in store for more products. Coles, value the Australian way.
The fantastic sale is on now. Find a fantastic new look for your home with low prices on everything from beds and mattresses to stylish dining sets and rugs. Hurry in store or shop online. These prices won't last.
I know you say only you can drive your car, but you can't expect me to buy my own car. And PD Insurance gave you such a good price. Maybe I should get a job.
Go to pd.com.au to get your quote.
A lot of people have sensitive teeth, but gum health is really important. Sensodyne Sensitivity and Gum toothpaste not only deals with sensitivity, it also maintains gum health. 2 benefits for 1 toothpaste. What a great idea.
The way I see it, you've got 2 options in life. Settle for what you're given or speak up for what you deserve. Kids movies. Foxtel voice control. What will you ask for?
Welcome back. A highway lane change has nearly ended in disaster in Queensland. A driver towing a caravan merged right but didn't see a truck caught in his blind spot. Luckily, an oncoming car saw what was happening and swerved to avoid a pile-up. No one was injured. 4 men are facing child grooming and abuse charges following a series of arrests from Police Strike Force trawler. Among them, a 33-year-old arrested in Westmead after he allegedly engaged in a sexually explicit conversation online with an officer that he believed was a 13-year-old boy. A 57-year-old Paddington man was also charged with possessing child abuse material. This week marks exactly 24 years since an Australian teacher went travelling and was never seen again. Marion Barter has been the subject of the podcast The Lady Vanishes. Tomorrow, a New South Wales coroner will try to establish what happened.
It's 24 years since Marion Barter vanished. All that time, her daughter has been searching without luck.
Wow, it's been a very long journey for me.
2 years ago, she took part in a podcast. The 38-part mystery, The Lady Vanishes, has been heard 8 million times around the world. And tomorrow, the New South Wales coroner will open an inquest on the very anniversary of Marion's disappearance.
It's hard to go in there with a view that they're going to enlighten me with some miracle that they have found her. I hope they do, but I'm not very positive that that's going to be the case.
Marion Barter was formerly married to Aussie soccer star Johnny Warren, but after 2 more marriages, she quit her job at the Southport School on the Gold Coast and left Australia for England in 1997. Family were unaware she'd changed her name to Florabella Natalia Marion Remical. There is evidence she returned to Australia under that new name and withdrew large sums of money from a bank in Byron Bay, but no one has seen or heard from her.
What happened when she came back to Australia and how did she simply disappear? Because there are no traces of her.
19 witnesses will give evidence at the hearing, which will be split between Sydney, Ballina and Byron. The police investigation will be scrutinised. Sally says until recently, she didn't feel police took her seriously.
Those police officers should be held accountable. If those people fall into long-term missing and they didn't do what they were supposed to do as per the guidelines, there should be some accountability for that. I haven't even had an apology.
Even if the inquest discovers what happened, Sally and her family may never know why. At the very least, they're hoping for answers, a definitive decision from the coroner, maybe a death certificate. Do you think she's alive?
No. I'm very firm that I don't think she's alive. And you can't just vanish and be alive and well.
Max Futcher, 7 News.
Wild weather is smashing America's southeast. This was the scene in Alabama after a tornado rolled through. Homes in the town of Bruton were wiped out by the twister, which formed as a tropical storm made landfall. It's not a hurricane, but its impact could be just as severe. Heavy rain has caused widespread flooding across Louisiana. A fireworks factory has ignited in Moscow. Hundreds of explosions rang out as the stockpile quickly erupted. Firefighters had to call in air support with water-bombing helicopters helping tackle the blaze. One firefighter suffered minor injuries. No one else was seriously hurt. The Queen has returned to Royal Ascot after missing out last year on what is one of her favourite events because of the pandemic. Her Majesty took time to inspect the horses running in her colours, purple and red. She nearly had a winner too, Reach for the Moon, finishing a close second. There's a new warning for hopeful pet owners tonight. Just ahead, a shocking rise in scams, how to avoid being caught out. Saving Hearts, the new campaign to combat our biggest killer. Savings Time, how to cash in on end of financial year sales.
And ahead in sport, the Eels survive a massive scare against their fierce rivals as a rookie enjoys a dream debut.
I can smell that finish line from here.
It's absolutely do or die today, big brother. Oh, God, I want this so bad.
I'll fight till the end. I'm playing to win.
Then all of a sudden, like that, the game has changed.
In the massive final showdown, only 4 will be left standing.
I'm about to shoot a missile into the lounge room.
Who will survive to make the live grand final?
Who wins? You decide.
Big Brother, Monday after Home and Away on 7.
When the slip and slide doesn't have quite enough slip. Or slide.
Okay.
It's time for Tylenol.
I'm good. I don't know what happened there, eh?
Let's go walkies to Beaumont's for massive discounts. Choose 31%, 40% or a huge 61% off these tiles. Get your paws in a store with discounts on every tile. Run, don't walk into Beaumont's huge June sale.
Every homeowner knows once in a while you're going to find yourself in a mini home emergency, like a burst pipe, or an electrical failure, or a locked out situation. And when you do, GIO Home Assist can be there to help. With GIO Home Assist cover, you get up to 3 emergency call-outs per year. And right now, GIO Home Assist is free for a year with new GIO home insurance policies. Call 13 10 10 or visit gio.com.au. You know, with GIO.
It's the little things that make time together great. The friendly cook-off. The kitchen creations. And warming dishes. Coles. Value the Australian way.
Give me a sec.
Our mega home internet deal on fast and reliable home Wi-Fi just got even better. Hurry online or visit your local Telstra store to find out more. For new customers, offer ends June 30.
With seamless performance, fewer emissions, and hybrid that charges as you drive, your future starts now. Live forward with the Lexus Hybrid range.
Here at Emart Furniture, it's our end of financial year sale with massive savings of up to 50% off a huge range of stylish pieces in-store and online. You'd better get a wiggle on. Emart Furniture, limited time only.
With Red Rock Deli, there's always something new to discover. Feed your curiosity.
What is the ultimate safety test? This is the big one. So is this the ultimate safety test? It depends whether you...
Volvo.
Welcome back. A man has been injured after he was struck by a taxi on Oxford Street in Darlinghurst early this morning. Police and paramedics arrived to find the man suffering head injuries. He was taken to St Vincent's Hospital in a serious but stable condition. There are fresh warnings over the rise in online puppy scams across New South Wales. Cases spiked during the height of the pandemic, and despite lockdowns easing, many victims are still being fleeced of thousands of dollars.
When Sandy Trujillo found a poodle pup for sale online, she paid a $1,600 deposit so her elderly mum could have a companion.
We'd bought a bed and leash and collar and all the bits and pieces.
But when communication with the breeder stopped, she realised she'd been conned.
It's the worst kind of scam because you're emotionally invested in an animal that you believe is coming home to be part of your family.
So angry, Sandy started a website to warn other potential buyers of the dangers.
It has become a support group for victims.
To anybody looking to scam, it's disgraceful behaviour. It's unscrupulous.
So far this year, there have already been 163 puppy scams in New South Wales. In 2020, almost 600 complaints and more than $500,000 lost, a 400% rise since before the pandemic.
What we're seeing is a very professional operation when it comes to scammers, when it comes to artwork and when it comes to certification.
If you're going to buy a puppy or a dog of any description, do not part with any money until you have seen it, touched it, held it and identified it.
Experts say if you've been scammed, notify your bank of the fraud straight away. Then report it to the ACCC, ScamWatch or Fair Trading New South Wales.
Be patient, do not rush, make sure that you check everything.
Advice Sandy now offers anyone willing to listen. Angelique Opie, 7 News.
It devastates more families than any other condition. Now a new campaign has been launched to try to stop the ripple effects of heart disease. A third of Australians over 45 aren't getting regular cholesterol checks, which experts say can save lives.
47 years old and a boot camp athlete, a heart attack was the last thing Rowena Newman was expecting.
It felt like lots of tiny sort of racing beats, but that I wasn't getting enough blood to my, to my brain, but really feeling like I was going to pass out.
The mother of 2 woke up with a racing heart in November. Her 11-year-old daughter Claudia came to the rescue, calling 000.
She couldn't really tell me anything, so I just said what I knew, which wasn't much.
Doctors discovered she had coronary artery disease, the attack spurred on by a virus. A third of Australians aged over 45 haven't had an up-to-date high cholesterol or blood pressure test.
I think people get a little bit complacent. Heart health is really important.
A confronting new Heart Foundation campaign, Saving Hearts, highlights the ripple effect of a deadly attack.
More Australians die of heart disease than any other cause.
A young, fit person goes to work and doesn't come home.
Heart disease affects 1.2 million Australians and accounts for 27% of all deaths. The message: get the necessary checks and reduce the risk factors.
If it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody.
Serena Andaloro, 7 News.
Consumers could be in for big savings as retailers slash prices for the end of financial year sales. Online giant Amazon is busy stocking its Sydney warehouse, focusing on homegrown products.
A hive of activity. Busy worker bees pack, scan and seal. Prepping for what could be one of the biggest online shopping events of the year.
It runs for 2 whole days and Australia actually has the longest Prime Day in the world.
Amazon's warehouse in Moorebank is the size of 6 football fields. Every aisle and shelf meticulously organised. From home appliances to fashion, health and beauty and baby products, shoppers can expect to save big on big name brands.
Such as Dyson, Lego and Bosch.
But this year, they're championing homegrown.
We really hope that people will get behind Australian small businesses.
Like the one run by Andonis Sakatis, pet products which aim to give back.
We support the charities and the volunteers with their work to support the pet industry.
These compostable clean-up bags are a bestseller.
And they are all certified to Australian compostable standards.
And as the economy bounces back, Aussies are tipped to spend $4.6 billion during end of financial year sales, more than double what we spent last year.
Yeah, there definitely seems to be more confidence in terms of people's financial situation, and we're going to see very large discounts across the market, up to 70% in some retailers in Australia.
The Amazon Prime Day sale starts tonight. The catch? You'll need a membership. Emily O'Brien, 7 News.
The first ever Sick Kids Day appeal to be broadcast live on 7 News is hoping to raise $3 million for children's hospitals across Sydney. The hospitals network looks after more than 150,000 sick children a year, including newborns in desperate need of life-saving care. Smiling and bubbly in his mum's arms, but it was a different story just months ago. At just 2 weeks of age, Levi Ford needed major surgery to save his life.
His bowels and stomach was in his chest, pushing onto his lung and his heart and moving it all.
Ashley was told about Levi's condition when she was 20 weeks pregnant. When he was born, the marathon effort to keep him alive began.
They said, we'll check you over and see how far you dilated. We got a helicopter on standby. You're going to John Hunter to birth this baby.
The Port Macquarie mum never made it to hospital in Newcastle. Instead, she and Levi have spent plenty of time at the Children's Hospital at Westmead after arriving on board a medical helicopter.
From the moment he was born, he was always going to be sick. So he was a very sick bubby.
They worked on him for 11 hours, him and the Nets team, and to stabilise him.
3 days after he was first discharged, the family home was inundated in floods. But with the support of the Sydney Children's Hospitals Network, they got through. And at 6 months, Levi is going strong.
He is amazing after a crazy 3 months, but we've got there.
The Hospitals Network treats more than 150,000 sick kids each and every year. 7 News will help broadcast its inaugural Sick Kids Day appeal this Thursday. The aim to raise $3 million for the Sydney Children's Hospitals Foundation to help little ones like Levi survive. One of the biggest rodeo events in the world has made a comeback after a COVID cancellation. Up next, all the thrills and spills as a country town gets back on the ball. Fighting dementia, could diet be the key? Bubbles burst why Australia's champagne supply is about to dry up.
Soon in sport, the West Tigers horror show that left coach Michael Maguire refusing to speak to his players at half-time.
And we're finally set to see a bit of sunshine this week. I'll have all the details with Sydney's 7-day forecast soon.
I love him to death. He's sung and danced his way into Australian hearts.
What's your name? Johnny Rothko. I'm a concreter.
Johnny just has all the swagger. But this Aussie larrikin is in the fight of his life.
Everything came crashing down. A tumour the size of my fist.
On the right side of his head.
I'm going to fight tooth and nail. Every second of every day is that extra bit more important.
Now you're there for his moment of hope.
This is it. Johnny finds out if his treatment is working.
So proud of him. A special 7 News Spotlight. Tonight at 7 on 7.
Can I give you a hand?
Yeah.
It's the chance meeting.
You understand why I can only be friends?
Yeah.
Big relief.
That'll start the most heartwarming romance. Amanda Pete. The entire first season of the feel-good favourite, Jack and Jill, streaming for free on 7+.
Advanced Genifique with 7 pre- and probiotic fractions activate your skin's strength. The microbiome. Skin recovers faster, is stronger, and visibly younger. Our #1 serum. Shop online now at Lancome.
All ready to go.
Coles Car Insurance is full of nice surprises. Like the fact that last year we paid out 99% of car claims. So you can get back to what really counts. Coles. Value the Australian way.
Brendan from the Salvos here. For every homeless person you can see on the streets, there's 13 more you can't. Sleeping in cars or couch surfing, hidden and alone. You can help them. Donate to the Red Shield Appeal today.
At Harvey Norman, get up to $400 in gift cards on selected Fisher & Paykel laundry packages, or up to $600 on selected LG laundry packages. Plus bonus gift card up to $1,000 when you buy on interest-free. On now. Go!
The Yaris Cross with all-wheel drive.
We'll just go around.
Small now has it all. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Rule 1. No internet searching.
With new Optus Pause, you can pause your mobile and home Wi-Fi connections with one touch and make the most of moments that matter. It starts with yes.
I think it's time for you to learn the family business.
Huh?
starting with the machine that goes bing every time someone compares with Compare the Market. We've helped more than 6 million Australians look for a better deal. Simple.
Yeah, full credit to the boys for calling, but we just couldn't get to the phone. Look, we had 7 or 8 rings, but obviously it just wasn't enough on the day. We're just going to regroup and take it 1 week at a time. So, yeah, I guess leave a message.
Pick up the phone, Dusty. It's your mother.
It's tax time madness at JB Hi-Fi with the hottest computer deals. Like 25% off Microsoft Surface computers. That's nuts. Get a whopping 20% off gaming computers. And a ridiculous 30% off Chromebook computers plus tax more tax time deals. JB, you've done it again.
Welcome back. A high-tech 3D scan could revolutionise the way melanoma is detected. Australian scientists are placing 15,000 people under the microscope with the aim of devising an algorithm that can be used to identify skin cancers before it's too late. It's hoped the world-first study will eventually lead to earlier diagnosis and treatment for skin disease. Champagne supplies in Australia could be about to dry up, with surging demand during the pandemic leading to a global shortage. During lockdown last year, Australia recorded the highest growth in champagne sales in the Western world. Now, low stock and increased freight costs are leading to brands disappearing from shelves, while the price of those champagnes that do make it into stores is expected to rise significantly. It's horses, bulls, cowboys and a whole lot of spills, and it's back. One of the biggest rodeo and camp drafting events in the world, in our state's northwest, has just notched up its 65th year, bounding back from a COVID cancellation.
Tossed around.
Oh, had a big time hook.
Tumbled off.
Stands outside.
Trampled.
Oh, big recovery.
Holding on, herding in. And loving every second.
He came out, he bucked a bit out, and then he bucked when he was doing rounds.
This is Coonamble, home to the biggest rodeo and camp drafting event in the Southern Hemisphere. An event that itself had to just hang on.
Oh, Cowboy in trouble. Bull set him up.
In its 65-year history, the show's been cancelled just once. After years of drought and downturn, it was COVID that kicked last year's event into the dirt. But this year, it returned with a surprise. Crowds flooded in, 35% up from 2019. More than 3,000 visitors across the long weekend. 1,000 competitors, plus millions worth of cattle donated to give the camp drafters a run. A chance for a new generation
Out we go. Hockey Cobras,
of resilience. In under 11's bull riding, Lachlan's back on the beast after a hard fall the day before.
So it came out, and then it came around.
There's still some boy in the cowboy, but like the blokes who protect him, he'll be back.
We do whatever we can. Sometimes it means getting laid out and putting your body on the line, like you say, but it's all worth it for us.
And for a country town cashing in on a big comeback. Emma Dallymore, 7 News.
The secret to defeating dementia could be in our diet. Rates of the disease are skyrocketing, and now Aussie researchers believe they've made a breakthrough. How what you eat could reduce the risk. Don't miss that story soon on 7 News. But now Mel is here with Sport, and Mel, the Blues are heading back into camp.
Yeah, they are, Fergo. They're slowly arriving ahead of Origin 2 next week. We'll be live at the team hotel with Michelle Bishop next. Plus, a day of big comebacks in the NRL as Manly and the Eels avoid big upsets. And high-speed wipeout. It wasn't just the supercars finding trouble in the top ends.
You are going to love what I've got planned for us.
Yeah, hold it.
This place is unreal.
Go to the exhibition. You find a way to put a wedge between him and Bella.
I'm sure there's a really good reason that Nico missed this. He worships the ground that you walk on.
I'm so sorry, Nick.
Home and away this week on 7.
Play for Oz. The next world champ.
invent something.
At Weet-Bix, we don't just feed kids' bodies, we feed their beliefs.
Don't like our beef.
Hope you've had your Weet-Bix.
It's Tech Time Madness at JB Hi-Fi with its Garmin Fenix Sports Watch smashed to half price. Samsung Galaxy Buds headphones crunched to $149. That's half price. A whopping $500 off this Lenovo laptop tossed out for under $1,000. Plus tax, more tax time deals. JB, you've done it again.
The new period ritual. Libra period proof undies.
The Bond's gotta have 40% off everything sale. Includes all women's, men's, kids and baby. 40% off everything. On now, in Bond stores and online.
I'm the magpie, collecting Flybuys points and shiny dollars off my shop. A catalogue connoisseur. I give a Flybuys.
Join Bupa and get cover for less than you think before life happens. Plus, get 6 weeks free on eligible products. Search Bupa 6 weeks free. Quick, before life strikes.
Light and Easy's new winter menu gives you your choice of over 150 delicious meals, including nutritious breakfasts, healthy lunches, hearty dinners, plus you'll have 25 chances to win $10,000. Order today for your chance to win.
Absolutely everything is on sale at Freedom, with up to 25% off sofas and furniture, up to 30% off homewares, and up to 50% off mattresses. It's happening right now, only at Freedom.
If you're getting on the tools, Repco will get you the right parts fast, with 15-minute click and collect or 4-hour home delivery available online, so you can get on with the job. Repco. It starts with the parts.
Welcome back. Good news, Blues fans. Superstar Tom Trbojevic has come through Manly's clash against Gold Coast unscathed and will join the New South Wales camp for Origin 2. Tommy Turbo starred in the Sea Eagles' win over the Titans, while Parramatta completed a second-half comeback against the Bulldogs.
Early in the second, Moses was clearly taken out of play. Parra awarded a penalty try. Repeat offender Luke Thompson did time. A memory for all time for rookie Sean Russell. Generation next for Gold Coast, Preston Campbell's son Jaden scoring his first NRL try. The surname for the Sea Eagles, Trbojevic. And with Jake injured, it was all Tommy. Ominous signs for Queensland. The fullback everywhere, providing 3 try assists and scoring 3 himself.
The Gold Coast has turned into Trebojevicville.
Manly winning 56-24. Andrew McKinlay, 7 News.
The worst performance in the NRL era. That's how commentators described the Storm's 66-16 rout of the Tigers last night. Melbourne piled on 40 unanswered points in the first half against a shambolic defence. Coach Michael Maguire refusing to address his team at half-time.
I know what we need to do, so they're men and they spoke about it themselves.
Storm enforcer Nelson Asafa-Solomona was hit with a 2-week ban for this high shot. Dragon Michaeli Ravalawa faces a possible 4-week ban for a shoulder charge. Tyrell Sloan scored on debut in the 22-20 win over Canberra, delighting a fan club led by his grandma. How beautiful. Well, the Blues will announce their squad for Origin 2 in Brisbane tonight. Chief League reporter Michelle Bishop and 7 News League expert Brett Kamali are at Sydney Olympic Park tonight. Michelle, what's the latest?
Good evening, Mel. Well, yes, Freddie's Blues, they have arrived here in camp, as you say, at Sydney Olympic Park ahead of Game 2, which is in Brisbane. And I'm joined tonight by someone who knows a little bit about the Origin Arena, Brett Kamali. Now, Brett, we know the changes. Jake Trbojevic is out with a hip injury. They're bringing in Angus Crichton, and also Dale Finucane comes in. How do they do this again? How do they replicate what they did in Game 1?
Yeah, well, I think 2 years ago we won by 32 points in Game 2 in Perth and nearly lost Game 3 and won the victory at the end of the match. couple of things in favour of Queensland. It's at Suncorp Stadium. They love playing at Suncorp Stadium. It's a desperation game, and I think pride would be hurting. It was a massive victory for New South Wales in Game 1, blown off the park, but pride would be extremely hurting for Queensland.
We all know the official team for Queensland isn't announced till tomorrow, but Harry Grant and AJ Brimson, they're in some trouble. Is Queensland in trouble?
No, not really. They'll play the underdog tag. They'll say there's viruses, there's all these dramas. I think Reid Marnie and Ben Hunt will come into the squad. There's a lot of criticism of Queensland's preparation for Game 1 with distractions, with players on, with injury concern. They've got to make sure Game 2 is right. They've got to make sure Game 2 is perfect because it's do or die there at Suncorp Stadium for them.
Okay, we've got this. We're going to go 2-0 up, definitely. Look, Mel, the players, they'll obviously stay here at Sydney Olympic Park and they'll escape this awful Sydney weather and head up to Kingscliff tomorrow ahead of Game 2 in Brisbane. Mel.
Jealous of that warm weather. Thanks very much, Shell and Noddy there at Sydney Olympic Park. Well, it's going to take a miracle for anyone to chase down Supercars Championship leader Shane van Gisbergen. The Kiwi overcame a rear wheel issue to easily take race 2 in Darwin today. Drivers used any means to keep cool in scorching temperatures, but it didn't help anyone stop the Kiwi from doubling up, taking out race 3, his 8th win of the year.
SVG gets it done in the tropics.
There was plenty of drama in the Superbikes race. Matt Walters somehow walking away from this high-speed crash. Ollie Bayliss, the teenage son of 3-time Superbikes world champ Troy, took out his first Superbikes win. Well, we saw the best and worst of Giant star Toby Green last night. Green was on fire, kicking 4 goals in the 36-point win against Carlton, including this 60-metre torpedo after the quarter-time siren. He could be in trouble for a stomach punch, but coach Leon Cameron has defended his stand-in skipper.
He's really, tied it up in that area and let his footy do the talking and let his leadership do the talking.
The Giants are 9th on the ladder. Well, the Giants of another kind have shot to the top of the Super Netball ladder after beating the Adelaide Thunderbirds 57-41 this afternoon. They joined the Swifts on top, making it Sydney top 2. Former Socceroo Mark Milligan has hung up the boots after Macarthur FC bowed out of the finals at the second last hurdle. The Bulls peppered the Melbourne City Goals at Cogra Oval this afternoon, but in the space of 2 minutes, their season was done.
Dancing, whips it in, brilliant goal from Melbourne City!
City's 2 second-half goals were enough to win the semi-final 2-0. They'll play Sydney FC for the second season in a row in next Saturday's decider after they beat Adelaide 2-1 last night. The Sky Blues are gunning for 3 straight premierships. Cristiano Ronaldo opened the scoring for Portugal against Germany at the Euros, but it was a horror night for the Portuguese, with Germany romping to a 4-2 win. What about this? Hungary took a surprise lead over world champions France in Budapest, with an unsuspecting sideline reporter caught up in the celebrations. Bit of a fright there. They drew 1-1. Cricket in India and New Zealand are evenly poised after a rain-affected day 2 in the World Test Championship final. The Kiwis kept India to 3 for 146 with only 64 overs bowled after day 1 was rained out. Virat Kohli is 44 not out. Rory McIlroy and defending champion Bryson DeChambeau have made charges to set up an epic final round at Golf's US Open. 2 shots off the pace, McIlroy is honing in on his first major in 7 years.
Tremendous touch by McIlroy!
Also 2 shots off the lead, big-hitting DeChambeau had the Torrey Pines Squirrels running for cover. Louis Oosthuizen drained this 15-metre putt at the last to be the co-leader at 5 under with Mackenzie Hughes and Russell Henley. Adam Scott, the best place Aussie, 5 shots back. And our men's rugby 7 squad had their first training session at Cowboys HQ in preparation for their final tournament before Tokyo.
And now it's, sharpening the axe and really sort of putting the final bits to it.
Dual Olympic medalist Jess Fox picked up her second canoe slalom World Cup gold medal in 2 weeks, winning the K1 event in Germany. Sally Fitzgibbons is the only Aussie woman to reach day 3 at the Surf Ranch Pro in California. And Aussie Ethan Ewing will join Owen Wright on finals day for the men. We keep talking about it, but things building up very nicely for Tokyo. Fergo.
And a very big 24 hours in sport.
Yeah, huge weekend.
Plenty happening.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mel. While Australians are living longer than ever, the rate of dementia is skyrocketing. In a world-first study, Aussie researchers believe they've found the key to staving off the condition, and it could all come down to what you eat.
It's good for your body and your heart. Now, it's believed the Mediterranean diet could also help your brain.
A Mediterranean diet combined with some walking activity can actually improve cognition.
UniSA researchers are confident it's the key to fighting Australia's worsening dementia crisis, launching a world-first study to explore just how much a diet high in fruit, veggies, whole grains and fish can ward off a decline in brain function.
Overall, our long-term vision is to develop a diet and lifestyle program that could be used to change dietary guidelines.
But they need your help. They're calling for more participants aged between 60 and 90 who live independently in a retirement village and show no signs of dementia. Those already in the trial say signing up's a no-brainer.
Once you hit 60, everyone loses something of their memory. I want to be the best I can be in my older age.
With nearly 500,000 Australians living with dementia and no prevention or cure currently available, experts say reducing the risk as early as possible is vital. That's exactly what this study is aiming to do.
If we can just even reduce that dementia incidence by 5%, that's going to lead to some significant health savings.
Over the next 2 years, half the volunteers will follow a strict Mediterranean diet and scheduled walking program, while the rest will be encouraged to stick to their regular habits. Experts hope the results will change millions of lives. To get involved, contact UniSA. Rosie Barnett, 7 News.
Sally's back now. Sal, how's the weather looking for the working week?
Mark, certainly much better than the weekend, although the wet weather will stick around for the next couple of days. Sydney's 7-day forecast is next.
So who is he?
The accountant.
Like a CPA accountant?
Not quite.
The Accountant. Tonight on 7.
What's your shampoo made of? New Garnier Fructis hair food shampoos and conditioners from 96% natural origin. Yes, vegan. No silicone. Yes, recyclable. Nourishing, smoothing, hydrating and volumizing by Garnier. Naturally.
Absolutely everything is on sale at Freedom, with up to 25% off sofas and furniture, up to 30% off homewares, and up to 50% off mattresses. It's happening right now, only at Freedom.
It's the classic T's and C's mumble read. We all do it. We start off strong with good intentions and then we run out of steam. That's why Bankwest have introduced visual T's and C's. A bank making T's and C's easier to understand? Well, no one saw that coming. To see for yourself, search Bankwest Visual T's and C's. Bankwest, bank less.
The Telstra End of Financial Year sale is on now. Get a bonus Samsung Galaxy Watch 3 with any Galaxy S21 Series 5G when you add to an eligible mobile plan. Hurry, offer ends 30 June.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
I'm the magpie, collecting Flybuys points and shiny dollars off my shop. A catalog connoisseur. I give a Flybuys.
4 out of 5 people who are blind don't need to be. A simple $25 surgery can restore sight. Please donate today to help carry on Fred's vision.
Every eye is an eye.
Thousands of GPs and vaccination clinics are providing services across the country. Over 5 million Australians have taken the next step and received a COVID-19 vaccine. It's free, simple, and the best way to protect ourselves and our community from COVID-19. Because remember, we're not safe until we're all safe.
Hey, yours is the 2-shot.
To find out when it's your turn, visit australia.gov.au.
Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Feeling on top of your future starts with being on top of your super. At Sun Super, we bring you the tools and advice to take charge today to make your dreams possible tomorrow. Sun Super, what dreams are made of.
Sung and danced his way into Australian hearts.
What's your name?
Johnny Ruffo. I'm a concreter.
Everything came crashing down. tumour the size of my fist.
His moment of hope.
This is it. Johnny finds out if his treatment is working.
A special 7 News Spotlight next on 7.
This weather report brought to you by Shell V-Power. Fuel the feeling.
Right on Sydney's doorstep, the modern-day gold rush. See how they're going sky high to see what lies below. 7 News, Monday.
Tonight's 7 News headlines. There are fears the maternity unit at Wollongong Private Hospital has been exposed to COVID after a gynaecologist had close contact with a positive case. The vaccine rollout is facing yet another setback, with GPs concerned about a growing number of people cancelling their bookings. A getaway car has been torched after a Regent's Park home was peppered with bullets. The family inside escaped injury, with the shooter still on the run. A fireworks factory has burst into flames in Moscow, triggering hundreds of small explosions. And the state government has revealed more budget details, including a $500 million plan to get more electric cars on the road, while parents are set to save with free preschooling extended. Social researchers feared birth numbers would fall following COVID lockdowns, but instead they've surged. Public hospital maternity wards have had their busiest start to the year in the past decade. The latest health snapshot shows 18,708 babies were born in the first quarter, 981 more bubs than for the same time last year. They say if the slipper fits, wear it, and that couldn't be more accurate for the performer who'll play Cinderella in the upcoming show at the Capitol Theatre. The Broadway spin-off comes with an unexpected twist.
Graceful, elegant and ambitious, Shubhri Kandahar, the perfect fit to play Cinderella.
Cinderella's journey, I think, is really powerful in this version.
At 26, she's already been Princess Jasmine in Aladdin. She sees the invitation to become Australia's Cinderella as a step up.
It's that same classic tale that we all love and remember, but there is something in it for everyone.
The musical, an adaptation of director Mark Brokaw's Broadway original. More than 1,500 actors have auditioned. Some of this show's characters have a new slant.
It's a slightly different take. So it won't disappoint the traditionalists by any means, but it just brings the story a bit more into today's world.
Perth-born Shubhri's acting career was inspired while watching Wicked in 2011. A return to Sydney's Capitol Theatre is like going full circle.
The first time I saw a show here, and I really hope that I could be that for somebody else.
Cinderella's Prince Charming and crazy stepmother will be revealed on Sunrise next week. But not all has been given away. This musical has an unexpected twist.
I was so taken aback, and I just think that it's so brilliant, and I think lots of people will really like that as well.
Hayden Nelson, 7 News.
The Bidens are mourning the loss of their pet dog Champ, who has died at the age of 13. They remember the German Shepherd as a constant and cherished companion, adored by their entire family. Champ joined the family in 2008 when Joe Biden became Vice President. Hundreds of small sailing boats took to Sydney Harbour today for the International Laser Class Association Regatta. It marked the 50th anniversary of the annual event and paid tribute to a number of Australian sailing greats who've won gold at Olympic Games and World Championships. Now, with the latest on Sydney's weather, here's Sally.
Thank you very much, Mark. Well, it was a bit of a miserable weekend weather-wise, with grey, gloomy skies set to clear as we return to work tomorrow. Today, we struggled to get much past 15 degrees in the city, well below average thanks to that cloud cover and the cooler southerly winds. That was pretty much the story right across the board. Terry Hills was the coldest spot in Sydney today, 13 degrees there. We saw 40 millimetres of rain at Mona Vale on the northern beaches. Campbelltown was the warmest location today, if you could call 17 degrees warm. It's not terribly warm. The Tasmanian low that has triggered all that rain and also the wild surf along the coast is slipping away from us. It'll take the bulk of the weather with it over the next 24 hours. But we will see onshore winds just skirt along the coast into tomorrow, and that'll just keep those showers, particularly for the mid-north coast, with generally 5 to 10 millimetres expected, so nothing too heavy. Around the capital cities for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies are expected in Brisbane and also into Melbourne, 15 degrees there tomorrow, while along the west coast, those showers and also the very windy weather that Perth has seen should start to ease. It'll be a cold one tomorrow there, though, a top of just 14 degrees. Adelaide mostly fine, though, 17 degrees the top there, and nice and sunny in Darwin, a top of 32. A closer look across New South Wales. Wet weather along the coast again tomorrow, as I just mentioned. That's with those onshore winds, pretty much from the northern rivers to the Illawarra. We will see some patches of sunshine for the south coast, though, including for Bega. Cloud cover will stop temperatures from dropping too drastically through the central tablelands tonight. 1 degree at Bathurst, warming up to 14 degrees there tomorrow. Taking a closer look across Sydney, partly cloudy skies, bulk of the wet weather just hugging that coastal fringe, around 2 to 6 millimetres in the gauges tomorrow. 17 degrees will be the temperature through Liverpool, Richmond and Parramatta. On the water tomorrow, we'll have those sour to southeasterly winds around 15 to 30 knots. The swell will sit around the 2.5 metre mark. 12 degrees will be the temperature tonight, a top of 18 tomorrow with a few showers forecast. Looking ahead, the showers should start to dry up on Tuesday. We'll see some glimpses of sunshine by the middle of the week. Then we've got another frontal system coming into Thursday. That's not going to be too wet, though, around 5 millimetres in the gauges, but we should make the most of the sunshine while it lasts, Mark.
Yeah, some blue sky heading our way, Sal. Thank you. That is 7 News for this Sunday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening. I'm Mark Ferguson from all the team. I hope you have a great night.